start off, tell us about the Governor's Cup Award and explain a little bit about what that's about.
Well, it's a huge honor. It is a program set up by Site Selection magazine, and every year, for many years now, they have selected the one state in the country where there has been the most new capital investment in the state. And for years, Texas has won that, I think 10 years running now. So what Site Selection decided to do a few years ago was to have both the most capital investment in any given year in a state, but then they also added another category, and that was the most new capital investment per capita. So that gives smaller states an opportunity to win the award. And this year, we won number one. We got the Governor's Cup from Site Selection magazine. And when I came into office, I think in 2019, we were at number 20. We moved up to number 10, and then this past year, we're number one.
And what are some examples one might see to win this award? What would you have to do?
Well, what you have to do is you have to attract corporations, businesses to come into your state, to invest new capital in your state. So when you look around what we've done in the past 3 years, you look at, we got Urban Outfitters to come in and build their largest distribution center in the country, right in Wyandotte County. We got Hilmer's Cheese is developing a huge dairy plant down in Dodge. And then there are just Kubota has really developed their footprint here. We've brought Amazon distribution centers in several places within the state. So it's those kinds of things, and they sort of just add up in the course of the year. I think the first year that we were in office, CNBC recognized that we had made such great strides in economic development that they named us the Comeback State of the Year. And then in 2020, we set a new record for most capital investment in the state of Kansas. I think it was over $2.5 billion. Well, that wasn't enough. In 2021, we brought in $3.8 billion, and with that received all sorts of accolades, including the Gold Shovel Award, which is another award given to governors who bring in the most new capital.
And how does the infrastructure work in Kansas? Highways, bridges, that sort of thing feed into this?
Oh, they're part and parcel of it. You can't grow your economy without good infrastructure. When businesses are coming in to look at your state, what they're going to be looking for will be infrastructure, your roads, your bridges, just your highway system. Rail in Kansas, rail is very important to move product to market. So they look at all of those kinds of things. And then they look at your workforce, so your workforce infrastructure. What do you have? Do you have the people? And do you have the means to train those people for business-specific needs? So they look at all of those kinds of things. So the investment that we have made by fully funding our transportation program, our IKE transportation program, restoring all of the funding that have been swept for years and put it back in, and we've got hundreds of projects in the pipeline right now and in process. But the other thing that we did that I think has made a huge difference is we've invested for the very first time in Kansas history. We put state general fund dollars towards broadband development. And then we continue to add to that every year so that we're really upping our connectivity all across the state. And obviously, it's hard to do business these days without high-speed internet access. So it's just been, we have really thought about the whole package. Childcare, businesses for their workforce, they need places for children to go, so the parents can go to work, and so we've also been invested in making sure that we expand our availability of childcare.
How did Kansas economy weather the pandemic?
We did quite well. We are actually much stronger, in a much stronger situation now than we were pre-pandemic. One of the, we obviously dealt with the pandemic, and we're continuing to deal with the fallout from the pandemic, but the thing that did not suffer was our overall economic growth. There were moments, early on in the pandemic when obviously businesses had to shut their doors to prevent the spread, but they have reopened at this point, and then we have attracted and relocated a number of other businesses to Kansas, or grown our home-based businesses, particularly in our aviation industry. So we are in a much stronger position than we were pre-pandemic, including not only have we been able to fully fund our schools, fully fund our roads, fix our foster care system, do all of those kinds of things, but we also have the largest surplus in Kansas history, $2.9 billion. That's why we proposed to totally eliminate the state sales tax on food. We have got the money. I knew when I came in to this office that I didn't want to raise taxes, but I knew we needed funding to be able to do all of those things. So that's why we put such a heavy emphasis on economic development, and successfully so.
And what does the economy look like in Kansas for the next 5 years?
Well, I'm hoping that we just keep growing. We've got some fish on the line right now that, if we were able to attract to land this fish, which of course we can't name, this is part of that $4 billion investment with 4,000 employees, and it would be the mothership that would then attract a lot of other industry. It would really change the face of Kansas economically. So